Hey guys, and welcome back to Trekyards. He's Commander
He's
Cockings,
got a Foley.
and it's time for another Lower Decks review. This time it's Season 5, Episode 4, A Farewell to Farms. It's like
So
arms, but different, you
it's
see.
ironic because he picks his farm at the end. So, anyway, so Stuart, what do you think of episode 4, The Klingon One, and return of our Klingon character guy from previous episodes?
I rather enjoyed it, actually. I'm not really one for, Klingon culture stuff, necessarily. But it was nice that Lower Decks added to the lore somewhat, and you get to see the whole conscription thing and also the reclaiming your captaincy. I like that. The Miglamo stuff was all right. It was an interesting enough episode. We did learn a bit about Mixamo's culture,
A lot about it, yeah.
and it's kind of a cultural episode.
Mm.
Klingons and the birds
Mm-hmm.
and how to make blood wine, which is really gross. Stomping on worms like grapes to make blood wine. Yummy. Anyway, no, I rather enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. So, how about you? What did you think?
Yeah, it's good, but I feel like Lower Decks hasn't gone for any heavy hitters really yet. This felt like a gentle, safe episode. It's not a bad thing, and there's certainly a lot to like in it, but it didn't push any boundaries. As I often mention, there's no legacy actors returning. They could have been, it would have been cool if it was Martok or anyone would have added. There was no big ship stuff. I mean, obviously, I was really excited for the end when I thought he was getting a new ship and we were cut to a brand new Klingon design. But like, whoa, Lodex did the new Vorcha variant. Like, I was excited for an end that was going to be really big and epic and maybe Martok or like something kind of cool. And it was all low key and gentle and nice, but there was no, as I often use a cake analogy, this is a very tasty vanilla cake with a little bit of frosting, but there's no cherry on top and there's no sprinkles. It's a nice, gentle cake.
In the words of a great Klingon lawyer, you don't all think that we're warriors, do you, Captain? Yeah, I kind of like that, seeing the other aspect of it. So,
Well, that's why I was kind of assuming that we were going to get really hardcore in, like with Peanut Hamper, and be all about this guy and really have a really fully led story by him. I liked our guys showing up, but it kind of diluted it a little bit because they went on a path that was again normal. But I liked seeing the first bit's great. It's super interesting, and the communicator and his brother is it's just interesting. It's different, and visually it's fun and whatnot. I didn't say mix most stuff because it was fun.
the one good thing out of this is that we learned that the interdimensional rifts are artificially created by someone. So that'll be. I love that that's a tie-in to all the episodes. Very minimally done in this one.
Well, it's odd because last season they specifically showed us ships getting captured. It felt like a big deal, and this is the most side thought. So it feels like they don't want to spend the money to show it because it's these episodes are begging for similar to last season of a breach opening, either mystery ship activated or another ship coming through or something cool to kind of get extra Trek zazz. But it's so low key.
One of the things that interested me right off the hop was the Klingon farm. Very much resembled Quill's farm from The Mandalorian. Definitely some moments there that felt Star Wars-ish, including the title screen. I kind of like that. I thought they would dive more into that, but they didn't, and that's fine. It's not, we're not doing Star Wars here, but somebody was obviously inspired by that, so it was kind of cool to see.
And they had a tower that was similar to Ezra from Rebels. It was very clear visual parallels and just interesting. Like I said, it was a really strong start. Wish we met the mum, little things. Anything cultural is interesting without the human. When you add a human into the mix, our perspective, it changes the cultural vibe. So just seeing, like the cutaways to just Kronos, two guys almost hitting each other on speeders and doing a slur, which I understood from previous episodes. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Awesome. That's a nice little contextual thing. So those sorts of things are really cool. But similar thing to previous times, I was thinking missed opportunities again. Where are the smoothhead Klingons? Where are the even Discovery Klingon? Right? You could have had so much more fun with the idea of Beyond Kronos and seeing bigger, seeing more, and it was real gentle and in keeping. But why didn't you have some smoothhead Klingons in the bar, like cut to a smoothhead, then look almost human, and the bartender's like, "Oi, smoothies, do you want another round? Don't call us that, meh." These little jokes sort of added to it, which like reminds me of in season 3, 4, when the oh God, I can't remember his name, but in TOS the skull face guy, like that gag about him being an alien was amazing. Where was that kind of gag this week? It was real gentle.
Well, there is a smooth-headed slur that's in the council chamber. She says something about it, the smooth head, referring to Boimler. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that would have been cool to see more stuff like that for sure. At least one smooth head would have been great. I did love the bar scene. Where it's like, why are you hanging out in this crappy place? And the bartender's like, huh? And yeah, even the band was kind of cool. So
Band was silly. I did like the band. In a similar vein, the gag about how, oh, this is the famous whatever hut place that Martok killed the people, and the guy's like, no, it's a chain.
that's in the Kefla Lowlands. This is chain.
That's really good. That's a really good gag. But they
Yeah.
easily could have just done a cut to a table, and there's one smooth head, one classic Klingon, one Discovery Klingon, one JJ Klingon, and they're all having a drink and playing the Martok game, right? Just use voiceovers. Like, that's all you need to be like, oh, bam, epic. You know, that's what Lodex can do, and it's missing those sorts of fun. While I just wasn't. And was it even funny? Was it? Is it on a least funny episode? Has this season just been not comedy based in the same way that other seasons have?
Well, yeah, one of my biggest takeaways, and I didn't notice this till I rewatched it for my to get the screen caps or the subtitles and stuff, was at the beginning, the opening scene where you see them harvesting like what looks like gagh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got
I thought
this
they were
strip
gagh.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and then you see him dump them into a big big vat, and he jumps in and starts like stepping on it, and then you see the blood wine come out, and then he's sitting there drinking the blood wine. It's like, okay, so that's how blood wine's made. That was kind of interesting, and they even complimented Mariner complimented how good the blood wine was, so I like that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I always thought it was just wine they added some blood concoction to with grapes.
Probably a bit of both. There's probably some kind of fermented fruit in there as well, but
I don't know if it's made from literally gagh, because he's also eating what feels like gagh throughout. So the running gag, everyone just loves the worms. But it does make some sense. I mean, fermented worms, possibly. And it's kind of fun in a kind of dumb way, but like a fun way, that because of, they even make a joke about, do you have water? It's a good gag. And so the blood one literally was harvested that day, or at least a version was harvested that day, and then another version was brought in. So, fresh that day by transport from Kronos, which is kind of cool to think that, these are so in demand as suppliers. They have to, because Klingons drink it very quickly. You got to keep bringing it in. Although, no beaming. I guess you can't beam blood wine.
another thing that kind of made me laugh, honestly, was the attaching the horns to the ship. And then when they're going to the council or to deliver the wine, it's like your horns have caught on the decorative horns of the building. Essentially, it's like, yeah, well, that's kind of funny.
There are horns everywhere. That was definitely a trope I saw.
Are you saying the Klingons are horny? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, truthfully, visually, look at the episode. Yeah, I kind of like the brother, but I liked him being the non-warrior guy more. So at the end, him wanting to be part of the thing I didn't quite buy necessarily. But nice they got on better, but it's like I liked him being an other, but in a way that's, obviously that's what Klingon culture is. He's happy to, as they showed him, he's not dumb because he hog-tied the hog in 12 seconds, right? Good job,
I do like the logic of the ritual where Boimler puts together, well, if we all go together, it'll distribute the deadly voltage over all of our bodies, because you needed 4 people for this ritual. And also learning that the ritual hasn't been invoked in like 300 years. Also kind of cool. So yeah, we did learn a lot about Klingon culture, which was kind of neat.
Well, I was mildly confused by that ritual because they say the voltage will kill people and it's never been done, which means it's a ritual intentionally designed to not work. So it's not a really ritual, it's a technicality. You know what I mean? It's not like the other ones where you just have to deal with it. No, you will get killed.
Unless you figure it out that you need to be in contact with the other people so you don't die.
But that also felt like cheating as well. And
It's not, though. It's the only way to survive it.
No, it's the loophole. I kind of wish they addressed that a Klingon can survive that voltage, but you are humans. Therefore, in this version, we will fail because it'll kill the people. Because I'd buy that. So I didn't quite necessarily buy the 300 years or whatever. And again, that could have been an easy NX-01 reference or something. They could have an missed opportunity of not linking, or if they'd said 200 years, they said Kang from House Kang, and then cut to a, maybe, imagine though, there's restaurants where they have, eat 15 pounds of beef and you got a thing on the wall. Imagine if there was a gag where they said, it hasn't been done in 250 years, not since Kang, and the camera cuts to a plaque on the wall and it's TOS Kang in a TOS uniform, holding blood wine. Like, that could have been a really funny gag, right? Like, last completed 22. Missed opportunity again.
The famous Dahar Master.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't talk about his recent years. At least they do mention Martok, which again I guess double confirms he's still Chancellor. Huzzah. They have a committee to select captains, but not for the KDF, it felt like, because he was just some guy of some fleet who he happened to be part of, because surely he's not a KDF top guy, because he didn't feel that way. But then why couldn't they just apply to a different branch of the fleet?
And just to clarify for everybody listening, might not know, KDF stands for Klingon Defense Force.
Yeah, because there are more civilian things, I'm sure. You know, people have ships, but there's a sort of I didn't quite understand the rationale, because then him dying at the end would have been a huge deal if he was like the top general of the KDF. They wouldn't be able to throw that off as like a So he had to be someone relatively minor who had power over this set of people. I don't know, what was your feeling on that? Because it was kind of odd the way they played that.
Didn't even think about it. It's an interesting thought, anyway. But yes, I mean, this guy probably is responsible for assigning the fleet things, and I would assume that's KDF. But didn't really think about it at the time, if I'm honest.
It just felt so low key. It was only a couple of people in a room. You know, there wasn't the chance that this wasn't whatever. It was, which is interesting, but I would like to have seen, because it would have been kind of fun if, at the end, as I said, the way I thought it was going to go was, I've completed this mission, we've killed this guy, he's clearly a dick. And then hard cut to, wow, I can't believe Chancellor Martok saw his bravery and gave him a promotion to the KDF Second Fleet. And then hard cuts to a Vulture and he's walking in with a new gold, like this really epic end. Again, you could have Martok be in that. Kind of a way of showing like this is the local militia kind of thing. Because there's going to be thousands of captains, right? Tens of thousands. There's giant armada where you have Borels still. Thousands of ships. So small thing. Although it's great to see the season 1 Klingon back. That was a nice little, hey, that guy. That was nice.
All they need is 2/3 of the council.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of Boimler? Because he's actually doing something each episode. He literally has a moustache now. He's very prominent in the episode as kind of the gag character, kind of similar to when he's on DS9, sort of cut to Dabo. He's like a joke character, but it's fine. What do you think of him in this one? Because he definitely has way more progression than the Mariner in that context.
Yeah, he's definitely becoming the Boimler he wants to be now, I think, because they saw the alternate universe Boimler. Mariner's like, he's going through a bit of a Klingon phase, because he knows all the Klingon minutia. I thought was kind of funny. I love that he referenced being on one of the coolest ships in the fleet, and then transferring back to the Cerritos was probably the best move for him. I love seeing the progression of the beard. Oh, is that what we're calling that? Each episode is really great. So I think he's getting a really good character arc this season. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, Mariner is still just Mariner. I love how she wanted to, or she needed to get here, and they wouldn't allow her in Klingon space. So they doing this other thing. It's just kind of funny.
Didn't mean to get him killed, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesus! Mariner!
That was quite an ending. And pink blood. We got the Pepto-Bismol blood from Star Trek 6. So
brutal and satisfying, those sequences. Brutal and satisfying. Yeah, but Boimler's thing, honestly, the way they framed it this week, I am now suspicious. Because as she has said, I believe in 2, if not 3 references, he's so unlike himself. Significant character changes that aren't just, you are who you are, and within a couple of weeks you can't change your entire personality organically, versus the previous one where he has Boimler tips. That's a forced speech thing that you can do, but suddenly being brave and accepting being kicked by Klingons and having find it kind of fun is not a normal progression of a character. That's a radical leap, which just reading someone's logs wouldn't do. So I'm intrigued as to what and how that is.
So you think that the Section 31 Boimler has replaced this Boimler and is trying to get to the bottom of these interdimensional rifts?
That would be an easy answer, yeah.
I see. Thought hadn't crossed my mind, but it's interesting. It'd be cool if we find the real Boimler at the end of the season. He was under house arrest by Section 31 or something, or they kidnapped him.
Because it would be not satisfying if he's just an alternate universe him. That wouldn't make sense. I could kind of believe that we've got a situation similar to the film The One with Jet Li, I believe, where all the multiverse, and if you kill one of your other selves, you become stronger because there's only so much power in that given form. And so it would be interesting because they've now created a sense of, okay, these things are being formed, these anomalies. So what if maybe the Section 31 Boimler is having to form realities, and by forming realities, parts of those Boimlers are sort of corrupting our Boimler a bit. Like he's trying to change our Boimler via intergalactic interdimensional energy. It's weird, but it's lower decksy. And I'll explain the radical change. Like maybe he's opening a universe to pull the best of that Boimler to this Boimler to make the best Boimler. You know, something weird like that, because it was such a radical development, which would be fine if it was episode 8, but that's not how he is for 4 seasons. And it was so normal feeling. It wasn't weird. It was just, he's good now, right?
All it takes is one moment, one decision to want to change how your life is, and some people can do that. I mean, if this is in fact our Boimler, props to him, and I kind of hope it is. I don't want it to be not him because I want Boimler to succeed, but
it's just odd if you can choose to be brave and make that like it's a mental state, not natural personality trait. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested by it, right? Because it's doing. That said, of course, the way he approached it was weird, but I loved the minutia. That's super in Boimler that if he's into it, he's learned it better than they have. Because of course, you know, something I've said to Marie, you know, if you live near London, you never visit London, as in London, England, because you're near there. You could go there any day, but you never go there. So we end up seeing sites together for the first time. It's like you've literally lived 20 minutes away your entire life by train and then underground. So the fact that these Klingons don't know their own culture makes sense because they've lived it, right? They know the big stuff. They don't know the small stuff. So I love the fact that Boimler knew the stuff. That was really fun. That was very in keeping. So again, interesting. I wonder if there's something more there because it's very low key, but he's the only thing that's changing and progressing the storyline since Alternate Universe him. So I'm assuming there's something slightly grander going on. Or is it super low key? Unless the entire joke of the season is the Harry Kim gag, where the last season, last gag is Harry Kim's promotion. The ultimate lower decker getting promoted. I would be fine with that. But I'm trying to see the setup, you know.
We get the reference to Kahless killing Feklar with thorns, which was interesting. And at the end, it's like, I can see Kahless, and not the fake one. The one that did impressions. I thought that was kind of funny. And the other thing that I noticed in the final scene, or one of the final scenes, was there was a sushi boat floating, and it's very, very much the exact same thing from The Fifth Element that pulls up to the window. Nice little reference there. I don't know how many people caught that, but it was interesting.
And it's funny. I did enjoy the Mixamo stuff or Miglamo stuff a lot. But again, it never reached a pace. It was always at a gentle 5 in terms of interest.
The Kolothkins.
Yeah, it was always interesting, just never that interesting. And it felt like
I agree.
And I felt like they deliberately sidelined because when you focus on that sort of character, Tendi and Rutherford are just there. They don't add anything to it except their voice lines. And the captain being so engaged was kind of odd, but fine, but kind of odd. Would have been better to include maybe the Doctor, like someone else, to give them a few lines, because Captain didn't add anything by being that character once. You don't want
to put the cat with the birds.
That could have been a story point. That could be a story point, right? And I did like the vibe of those, but just having them lose a sense of taste, it was a little bit underwhelming at the end. It's like, oh, okay.
I think that was a reference to like basically YouTube haters, because it's like once you do something for so long, you kind of get desensitized to it because they were going for the flavor. They lost all their sense of taste, so they just have to hate on everything to get the articles out. I kind of got that little spark in the back of my brain that it's like they're kind of referencing, like, let's say Star Wars or Star Trek haters. That's all the channel's about, so you can't see the good in any of it. That's what I kind of got. So
well, they had a
if
medical
that's the case,
problem.
that's awesome.
So it's a little bit different, but
it was, but it was a medical.
That's interesting.
Like a mental condition.
Yeah.
So
well, psychological, still a medical condition, still real, just in their brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the hogfish meal looked very much like what we have on Earth here, the blobfish. So just with more eyes. I like the replicated food idea. It's like, ooh, how dare you? That's because I could understand that replicated food might taste very bland as opposed to the real thing, and then they actually did cook the thing. I love Tendy's, cutting skills. Rutherford and Tendy didn't do too much. Very quick change to get the manure into those oysters, though.
Yes, that I thought was like, did they? Okay. But I did like the replicator gag a lot because it does. I wish they kind of delved into that more, because 90% of their food, if not more, probably 95%, is all replicated. But you program it to be whatever, exactly how you want. So it can be perfect, but it'll be the same. And as we've always said, what you can do is start randomizing, because you say computer chicken soup and then randomize the salt content within a range of 1 to 30%, and add. You can do a lot of variation to change it, or you replicate the fresh ingredients and then cook it yourself. So it will be different based on that. So there are those two ways of still making a meal from a replicator. But of course, why the hell would you give replicator meal to a critic? But I like the fact that he was so like we said later, he's so used to just eating that food, he didn't think about doing it fresh. So that's a good parallel. I wish I made a bit more because of fun social commentary, but yeah.
And I thought the joke was going to be with the hogfish thing. It's like, this is disgusting. Well, we made it ourselves from replicated ingredients, so it's still replicated. I thought there was going to be some kind of joke that. I mean, it could have been fresh ingredients. They didn't clarify, but that's kind of where I thought it was going.
Because I thought they were going to make a commentary of them saying, well, we don't like fresh meat, so the captain's going to say, I don't want to cook real meat. Ugh, gross, because we've had that previously in Trek. But yeah, if it's replicated meat, then it's not fresh meat, which sort of redundant sizes the... hadn't thought that.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's where I thought it was going, and I was pleasantly surprised, so... Although I love their tools as well, their fork and then the claw thing, or the beak.
Yeah.
And then it's just one little taste on the tongue, and it's like, ugh.
I mean, you can't get more social commentary pretentious of, you guys are idiots.
Yeah. You tried one ingredient on the top of the actual meal itself, so you didn't actually taste the meal. I don't understand that, but whatever, it's fine.
That's the joke, right? And it would have been nice that eaten. Yeah. But there's a lot to cram in, although not a lot at the same time. But I like the planet. I like seeing them. I like him getting more. I've never seen a race with that level of cookery as key. I love the joke of we invented warp drive just to find more meals.
To seek out new meals, yeah.
But as I always say, that would have been cool to do like a flashback to see the first warp explorer. Maybe they met the Vulcans, their first contact, and Vulcans like, greetings, and they're like, hello, what food do you have? And they give them like a plate of bland as hell stuff, and it encourages to go out and find more things, But I always like, integrating more elements. But yeah, very good, but nothing past good. And lots of missed opportunities.
Yeah, lots of missed opportunities. It wasn't spectacular. Definitely added to the culture of two different planets. It was enjoyable to watch. I think it was better than the last episode for sure. And I'm not really, as you know, with me, I'm not one that if it's a fully Klingon-centric episode, I'm not super stoked about it. But even though saying that, I enjoyed this one. So
we had a good balance of our perspective and their perspective. It really melded the two well. It just didn't do either the most then. It was kind of, But yeah, there you go. That's our review, guys. Join for the scene by scene. As you can tell, while the big story is very small, there's also little tiny bits to talk about. So that'll be pretty big for the live, which is great. So join us in for that tonight at the normal time. 9 p.m. GMT and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're still on your bit, Stuart, what are you going to say? It's my bit.
Well, you didn't say hit like,
and
comment
down
below, subscribe to the channel, make sure you notify.
Notification bell icon on all videos so you know what we're doing.
But join us for those lives and those edited contents. Super thanks if you can. And super chat during the lives. We really appreciate that. All the support helps. Or, send us, PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com. Anything to help out the channel. We really appreciate that. But just turning up and having a great community discussion is what we're all about. So come join us. You want to. That's part of our culture. We're teaching about our culture now.
Come to this video. This Saturday we're going to look at all the Klingon stuff. And next week for rankings and such fun. I think we're doing TOS, probably rankings of some kind. We'll see. It'll be fun either way, so tune in for that.
This will age like fine milk. Because people will watch this years later and not know what the hell we're talking about.
It's fine. Add some blood milk to it and it'll be really fresh. And
I prefer the blue or the green milk. The red milk is just kind of... Yeah. Anyway, on that note, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, he's Commander Cocky.
He's Captain Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.